All right, hey, here we're back. Live, should be live on Twitch and YouTube. Just as a reminder, because it's been a little while, I've been building this RX78 Master Grade Fragment Gundam. I picked it up at the Tamashii Nation store in Times Square in New York back in the spring. It also came with this cool little sort of plasticky gun cannon little, I don't know if it's a trading card or what, but there it is. And this is where we are so far. So last time we built, I think, the arms and the shoulders. We already had the torso done, and since then I've put the water slide decals on and put a coat of top coat. But other than that, these are the standard colors. Except I guess I did some blue painting on some of these little clear parts and a few little accents around the kit. But otherwise it is completely grayscale, just like we see here. And here's the core fighter. We've had that done for a little while. So anyway, I'm gonna set that off to the side, and I believe that we're gonna try to finish the build today. So what we've got left are the legs, and then of course the weapons loadout, which is just the bazooka and the beam rifle and the shield, of course. So I'm gonna grab some parts here and we'll get started. I hope you guys are doing well today. I've had probably more of a break from this kit than I would have liked to have had, just because things got really busy for me the second half of the summer. But I think that's all kind of calming down now that kids are back in school and I can get back to kind of more of a normal schedule. So hopefully, especially this week, I think that I'm going to have a lot of time to be able to be here in the studio working on some projects. And most importantly, I have a really big Gundam build project that I need to get started on because it's got a deadline. It's got to be finished in a couple months from now. And I haven't done much work on it yet. So my plan is to finish this today so that I can knock it off the list of ongoing projects, and I don't want to have too many different things going on at the same time, of course. So I'm going to try to finish this, and then we will get started on that other big project shortly, hopefully later this week. I'm going to go ahead and build both feet, both legs simultaneously here, just because I think it'll be a little bit faster that way. It's going to take me a minute to remember which color these runners are because it's been so long since we last worked on this kit. If you're curious, my runner sorting technique, as far as being able to find them and grab the correct ones, is not fancy. I just stack them in alphabetical order in the open lid of the box. I like flip the box lid upside down and stack them in there. All right, let's get these cleaned up. I think, I'm trying to remember even the process that I was using as far as trimming and cleanup on these parts on the rest of the kit. I'm pretty sure we were just using this glass file and trying to erase these nub markings as best as we can. On the darker gray, it's a little tougher, of course. But I think that's all I was doing, you know, because of course I'm not painting this kit. The kind of the whole point of this particular variation is the weird color scheme. So I don't think it would make sense to paint over that. So I'm just going with the standard bare plastic color that they chose. And trying to clean up the nub marks as best as I can, and then just hitting the whole thing with a top coat, flat top coat when I'm finished. And it comes out looking like that, which is actually really nice. The mostly grayscale color scheme is something that I really, now that I've seen it, and as we've gotten more of the kit together, I really do like it. It looks like some sort of like maybe a prototype mobile suit or something like that. Somewhere I have my dust brush. Here it is. Just to try to kind of keep these cleaned up as best I can as we go. Even though I haven't been working on this or any other model kit, I did spend the last couple of weeks building over on the YouTube channel, which you might be watching right now. It's the same channel where I post 3D printing stuff as well as these Gundam builds. So on that channel, I released last week a whole series of build videos going over the upgrade of my Prusa Mark IV's 3D printer up to the new Core 1. So I actually built that 2 weeks ago during that week, and then last week I edited all that footage that I had recorded and released the videos one per day last week, and they matched up. So like I built the video that released last Monday, I had done all that building the previous Monday, and then Tuesday was Tuesday, and so on. This is a weird song. Let's skip it. So yeah, I enjoyed that build a lot. It was a lot of fun, and the printer's working well. I spent the end of last week and some time over the weekend starting to run it through its paces, printing some things that are complicated or things that I normally would have printed on my big Voron printer, as far as some more exotic types of filaments and things like that I couldn't print on the Prusa before. And it's been working mostly pretty well so far. There have been a few little hiccups and things I've had to kind of tweak and configure a little differently, but I am happy with that upgrade to the printer. It's certainly a lot better than it was before. So now we're taking a bit of a break from all the 3D printer build stuff to go back to some Gundam build stuff, while I dream up what my next 3D printer project is going to be as well. John, hey, how's it going? I don't always show chat, but since somebody's here chatting, I'll put your message on screen. Hope you're having a good day. It is morning here for me. It's a little early still. So I'm waking up. Oh, you got this in your backlog. Congratulations. So first of all, the build's been good. It is my first time building any variation of the 3.0 Master Grade RX78 which is a little surprising because like there have been so many of them. And I have a couple of other, I have the EcoPlaw one in my backlog, but I just hadn't built any of them until this. And then secondly, a bunch of people in the first two build streams when we were working on this were surprised that I was actually building it, because apparently a lot of people just bought it kind of as a collector's thing and they were keeping it in the box. So, but I figure if I buy a thing, I might as well build it. Why just keep it in the box? So yeah, it's been good. I really like the look of it. Like the color scheme they chose is very cool and different. And the tones of gray are different enough from one another that it makes it interesting. I thought at first, you know, maybe it's just too grayscale. In person though, I think it looks really good. In case you missed it earlier, here is the part that's done so far, right? And this is with the water slides that it came with, and then a little bit, so like this blue that you see in a few spots, those are hand-painted little details. So it didn't come with the blue, I just added those in a few little places here. And I think, I'm trying to remember because it's been like a month since I last worked on this. I'm pretty sure that this bottle of paint I have sitting right here, which is just this kind of fluorescent blue, what's it even called? Yeah, it just says blue fluorescent. I'm pretty sure this is the enamel paint that I've been using for those little blue details. I hope it is, because that's what I'm going to use for the rest of the kit, and I want it to match. Since it's sitting right here on my shelf next to my desk, I'm pretty sure that's what I was using before. LED to light up the head, maybe? So far, no specific plan. You probably can't see because it's dark in there, but I did paint the transparent part for the eyes with that same fluorescent blue paint there. And it is transparent enough that it would still transmit some light if I stuck an LED in there behind it, and it would have blue eyes. So I may try that. We'll see. All right, I need polycaps. I'm still sad, a bit sad that this kit has polycaps at all. Like, I realize it's an older master grade, so they all had them, but I've built so many newer Bandai kits recently that have done away with the need for polycaps that I'm sad now when I see them. That's not the right way. Let's go this way. Let's see, I guess I need to build this little back part of the foot, the heel part first. Did I see the news on the next Master Grade SD? Yes. There seemed like there were a lot of, or by a lot, I mean like 4 or 5 kit announcements like overnight last night, right? Cool, hooray for ad bots. We're just going to ignore that. But yeah, I did see some photos this morning of a few different new kit releases. I still have, so I've built 2 of the Master Grade SDs. I built the Barbatos and the Freedom. They're behind me on the wall there. You probably can't see them because they're kind of in the dark. And I have the wing somewhere on my shelf over here that I haven't built yet. I may actually give that away just because I haven't had time to build it, and I don't know that I will. But yeah, I enjoy that line. I don't specifically really like the look of SD kits. Like just the proportions and stuff is not something that I've really ever been into that much, but they're fun builds, that's for sure. I just wish Bandai would go back to making more actual master grade kits. I realize that they probably cost a lot in development cost, and they probably don't sell as well as the smaller, you know, high grades and things like that. So I understand why they've kind of gotten away from that, but man, yeah. those are the ones I like to build, and so I wish they'd make more of those, more new ones, instead of just, you know, rehashing the same designs over and over again, which is, it seems like, what they are doing now. But yeah, the next big project here, I think I've got this sitting over here. I'll show you if I can dig it out from under stuff. So this is what is on the docket, right? And that I need to finish this build so that I can make space for it. But it's this resin kit, right? So I've got some parts already like starting to be sorted and prepared in these trays over here. So I've got a big pile of resin parts waiting for prep and test fitting and all of that kind of stuff. And as I realized, I wanted to start that like this week soon, but I realized I still had this kit sitting in its box, partly finished. And I decided I better finish this first just to get it out of the way. I don't want to like be coming back to it 3 or 4 months from now and not remember what I was working on. So we're gonna knock this one out in the next couple of days and then get on with that resin conversion kit. And that resin conversion is for the Master Grade Force Impulse Gundam, which I have the original Gundam here itself, just snap built. Obviously I'm gonna have to take some parts off of that we are not gonna need when we start doing the test fit for the resin kit, but I decided to go ahead and build it completely first. I did that quite some time ago, so I can take some before photos and then we'll do the resin conversion and take some after photos. With this build, if I remember correctly, because like I said, it's been, I think, like a month since the last time I worked on this. I'm pretty sure what we were doing is on stream here, I was just doing the snap build of the kit. And then I think with the part that's been done so far, I think all the water slides and top coating work and stuff like that, I did that just on my own time, not on stream. It's still a bit hard for me to film and stream well from my spray booth. I don't really have a good setup over there for being able to capture footage there. So I'll probably do the same thing here. We'll probably just build this on stream and then I will finish it up as far as decals and top coating and stuff, not on stream, and then I'll try to make sure to remember to record either like a quick video or just take some photos and share them somewhere so people can see the final result if you're interested in that sort of thing. One thing I've noticed with this kit that I'm a little surprised about, like I was not expecting, is that there seems to be a pretty big lack of actual panel lines. Like on this part here that I'm holding, there's a few little notches. Same thing with the part that's done, right? So I've been dropping some black panel line fluid in to some of these little rectangular notches that are around the kit. But as far as like full panel lines, there aren't really very many, which I found a bit surprising. All right, let's put his toes on. And there's one foot. That's like some pretty extreme articulation on the toe bit there. Nice. All right. That didn't seem like it was sitting level with the bottom of the foot, but something popped into place there, just kind of messing with it, that has now fixed it. So I assume that the inner frame part underneath there, I hadn't pushed it all the way in. All right, there we go, 2 feet. Thinking of adding custom panel lines. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it depends kind of what look you're going for, right? It's not a hard process doing custom panel lining. It's just something to take your time with for sure. Like, don't rush it. But yeah, looking at this, like for me, especially with the water slide markings on this guy, he is detailed enough that I don't think I would want to add too much extra. I like the look of him like he is. But yeah, if you're going for something like hyper detailed or whatever, adding panel lines is cool. Go for it. Also, I was hoping that this was going to be just kind of a quick build. I put it up on my shelf as a souvenir of my trip to New York City where I picked it up. But of course, nothing for me ever turns out to be quick. So that was the intent. The intent was just to knock this out pretty quickly, like back in July, end of June, early July, and now it's August. So, you know, maybe I'll finish it, like I said, in the next couple days, and then I can move on to more things. I was just looking to see like how far ahead do I want to grab parts. So I've decided just for now we'll do the ankles, which are the next bit, and then these J runners also have most of the inner frame parts for the rest of the legs too. But rather than getting all of that right now, I'm just going to get these bits for the ankles, and we'll come back and do the legs later on. Yeah, that should be good enough for now as far as parts, but I need those same gray ones here from the other F runner. Then we'll clean these parts up and build the ankles. If you're hearing like rumbling and banging kinds of background noises, I don't know whether the microphone picks that up and whether it's louder or quieter than the background music that I have going, but there is some kind of work truck outside of my garage studio here that's making quite a lot of noise. Like I can hear it through the headphones, so it's pretty loud. I actually, like, maybe a month or so ago, I bought a thing off of Amazon called an acoustic blanket that somebody recommended to me. It just looks like a big, thick, like, moving blanket, if you ever used one of those, you know, for packing around furniture when you put it in a moving truck or whatever. Just a big, thick blanket like that. And I've got it hanging over the garage door, which is just to my right here in the studio. And I think that has actually helped a bit with dampening sounds that were coming in from outside, especially rain. We get a lot of thunderstorms where I live, and so especially in the afternoon, I would hear a lot of rain and thunder and sounds and stuff like that coming through the door. And it's definitely helped with that, but I don't know that it helps with giant trucks just outside doing whatever it is they're doing out there. You turned off your alarm when it went off and went right back to sleep. Yeah, so I wake up with an alarm on my watch, which doesn't make sound, it just vibrates. And The biggest button that it provides to me on the watch when the alarm goes off is the sleep one. You actually have to kind of hunt around for the turn off the alarm button on the watch, which I think is a good thing because I would do the same thing for sure. But when I just reach, like if I'm half groggy and I reach up there and hit the watch, it ends up just sleeping the alarm, and then 10 minutes later it wakes me up again. Wrong chat. All right, so I think I can report now that whatever crazy worker noise was going on outside my garage is now done. I think it seems to have quieted down, which, again, maybe you didn't hear it, but for me it was pretty annoying, so I am glad, and I hope that they don't come back. We do have the house like right next door to us. The people moved out of there a long time ago, like maybe 6 months ago. It's been for sale for a long time, and I think it is sold, but I haven't like seen or met the people who bought it yet. But it seems like there's been more activity over there the last couple weeks with like different work trucks and whatever in the driveway. So my guess is that whoever bought that house is going to be moving in soon, and they're doing some renovation work or whatever on it before they move. So I assume that the noise that I just heard was related to that. All right, that batch of parts is ready, I think. I'm trying to sort of be careful as I work on this, but also I'm trying to go fast, which is probably not a good combination. Like, I don't want to rush too much, but also I realize that there's other projects I need to work on, and I'm just trying to get this one finished so that it can be off the list, you know? That was the wrong side. Let's try this one instead. That is better. Actually, having said that was better, I'm pretty sure I put those on upside down, didn't I? Yes, I did. Let's fix them. Who needs a part separator when you have fingernails? I almost reached over and grabbed the part separator for the record, but fingernails worked that time. Okay, cool. Now let's try to not put these on upside down. All right, that looks good. And this one goes this way. Just making sure. So we have this little kind of flared out tail part back here. That goes toward the bottom. So that seems right. And we can now put this on here. And then we can put these little caps on. And we want this one on this side. And then that's wrong. This one on this side. Yeah. Nope. This way. All right, and these with ball joint, click in here. Looks just like that. All right, now I'm going to grab a whole bunch of parts for the rest of the legs. I imagine they're going to be just pretty much all the rest of the pieces on these J runners. All right, maybe that's all we need. These up here are for the hip joint, almost certainly, and this is the inner frame bit that sits behind the side skirt. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what this number 16 is up here, but I don't see it unless I missed it as I was glancing through the instructions just now. No, I don't think we need that one. All right, so I'm gonna grab the same parts off of this other runner here. That's not the one. This one. All right, I think that's all we need for there. I'll get started working on these, and then at some point, I'm sure we'll have to pause and go grab some more parts. I am taking a bit of a shortcut here. I'm only going to clean up the nubs that I know are going to be visible. So ones that are on attach points like those two there were. I'm not going to worry about those. And that way save just a little bit of time. Even those there probably aren't going to be visible because, you know, they're on inner frame parts, but I can't help it. I have to clean some of them. I think it may be close to time for me to figure out how to sharpen these God hand nippers. I've had them for a long time, like 6 years at least. And I try to take good care of them. They are still extremely sharp and do a great job, but I do notice that they're starting to not be quite as perfect as they always have been. Of course, I figure if I do try to sharpen them or adjust them too much or whatever, there's probably just as good a chance that I make them worse than as compared to making them better. So I'm certainly not an expert as far as, you know, like sharpening knives or blades or anything like that. All right, we have weird pan flute music going in the background. Yeah. Sounds like a pirate shanty or something. We're skipping that. I guess that's what I get for just putting copyright-free music on random. But I mean, to be fair, I think, in my opinion at least, most of it so far today during this build has been not objectionable, and it's like, sort of just like epic enough in the background that it's not distracting me, at least. And it helps to drown out the background noise, like when there's work trucks right outside my studio. This is a weird part. Yeah, just the geometry of it's strange. I assume maybe it's like the knee? I guess we'll find out in just a minute, but yeah, it's a bit different from a lot of other Gundam legs that I've built. That's actually one of the things that I would say I enjoy the most about building these model kits, is sort of investigating and seeing how the decisions they made, the engineering decisions they made with how things fit together and how the mechanical details operate. However, I think what you find after you build a bunch of these is that there are some pretty common patterns and similarities in the construction of most of them. And so when I see a piece that seems unusual or different, it always kind of catches my attention because I'm curious how it's going to fit into the build, and also like to think about why the designer of the kit made specific decisions when they were designing the engineering of it. If that makes sense. All right, I know there was something here, but I don't feel it. There it is. Not bad. All right, let's see how far I can get before I need some extra parts. I definitely need these two polycaps. And I think, so I'm starting right here, I think I'm gonna get like 2 steps, maybe, and then need parts. I was wrong. 1 step. That's it. All right, let's grab the F runner and figure out what I need off of here. Definitely right now this piece, but I'm gonna go ahead and look ahead and grab anything else. Almost certainly this, because it's the lower ankle, sort of front of the leg armor, I think. Back of the leg, maybe. And then this one, right, is up on the thigh area. Maybe that's it. This little guy right here. Maybe 17 as well? Yeah. All right, those parts should get us a little further. Just gotta get them cleaned up here. There's a little round spot right there that might work for one of our fluorescent blue highlights. We'll have to wait and see. What I've been doing with those is after I get each section of the build done, like so when I see a whole arm together or a whole leg together or whatever, then I kind of look it over and determine if there's a good spot to put a little detail like that, because I want to see, you know, the location of it in context with the whole mobile suit, not just thinking about one piece at a time. Been real careful with that one that I just trimmed there to keep this edge perfectly sharp and smooth. That particular gate was large and in a kind of unfortunate location. Like they put it along this angled edge in a strange way. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, cool. Pretty sure I forgot a piece when I was trimming them off the runners, because one of these, that little sort of trapezoidal shaped piece that I commented about how it had an unfortunately placed gate. I only have one of those, and I feel like I should have two. So let's find the piece I missed. Never mind, I didn't miss it. It's sitting right here on the instructions. It was just camouflaged. All right, now all these parts are sitting in the way of me seeing what I'm doing, so that's awesome. Let's move them out of the way, and finally we get to see how this weird little hook thing works that I was intrigued about before. This sanding dust. Get out of there. All right, so this clips on here. And then we bend this back like so. Hey, Walter. You saw my 4 or 5-year-old post. Oh, okay, yeah. So that was the original perfect grade RX78 2, like the very old school one. I think I did some custom like panel lining and stuff on that, but otherwise it was just as it comes out of the box. And yeah, I got this like acrylic display stand, so it was like layers of flat acrylic pieces that kind of fit together to create that layered effect. And I could not figure out the best way to make a video kind of showcasing how it looks. I think it still looks a lot better in person than it did on that video that I ended up making. But yeah, that thing came out really good. I was super pleased with how it came out. Yeah, I think there's a really old short on my YouTube channel, right? Showing that thing. I don't have it here in the room with me. It's actually in the house, in a display cabinet in there. So I can't very easily bring it on stream at the moment. But yeah, that was a fun build. A little bit sort of tedious, right? Because it was such an old kit. You know, there are certainly problems with that original perfect grade kit. Yeah, it's perfect grade. It's really, really big. It's kind of hard to move around even because it's so big. I don't have a lot of perfect grade kits in my collection. I have the, I built the perfect grade red frame Astray a while back. The version with the 2 katanas, which are very cool. And I did build the perfect grade Unleashed RX78 as well, but that's it. That's the extent of my experience with perfect grade kits. Strike Rouge with the Skygrasper, yeah. I think, as far as I know, right, the inner frame is the same between those Strike Perfect Grades and the Astray that I built. It was a pretty cool inner frame, I thought. So much like molded detail on those parts. I'm a bit surprised, I gotta say, that YouTube is still showing that video to people, because you're right, it is pretty old. That RX78 on the spinning stand. Also, if I remember correctly, like the turntable that I had back then, I'm not sure if it was even an official turntable or it was like something I cobbled together with like a round plate and some motors. But it was struggling. It was like really struggling to handle the weight of that kit on there. And so like if you look at the video closely, the whole thing is kind of jerking as it spins, just because it couldn't get smooth motion because the thing was too heavy. Top of all time for Gun Plus subreddit post? Really? That RX78 post? Is that the one you're talking about? Because I remember, so I don't really post on Reddit anymore at all. Yeah, I remember I had one that was pretty high up. That was the, I think it was my Master Grade Dynamis build. That one got pretty high on Reddit too. But like I've stopped posting things on, actually, to be honest, most social media. Occasionally I still post something on Blue Sky, but I lurk on Reddit from time to time. Yeah, but honestly, I haven't been doing a lot of social media stuff recently. I just got like kind of burned out with the whole thing, so. Yeah, that's cool. Like I'm happy that you ran into that. All right, what are we doing here? So they want me to put a sticker on this piece right here. This is probably one of those like all black stickers that on the original version of this kit, the you know, the non-weird color version, is probably like some sort of either silverish chrome kind of thing or like a bronze looking thing. These are the number 4s, so they're this little piece right here, and they would cover, let's see, I'm zoomed in all the way already, so they would cover this little area right here. Do I like that? Do I want it? I don't know. We'll give it a try. And if I don't like the look, I'll just pull it back off. I have used these black stickers in a few spots. Elsewhere on the kit, you can see, I guess, maybe like these 8 right here are missing. They were on the outsides of these little thruster bells here. And they did add something there, so we'll see what this looks like. There were a couple on the arms that I skipped because I looked at those and thought they were in kind of a dumb place to put a sticker. So, right, do we want this to be a different color? And if it is, wow, my hands aren't very steady this morning. Come on, there we go. So if we leave that there, where does it actually show up on the actual leg? Is it like the back of the ankle joint? No. Yeah, sorta. All right, I'm gonna keep this. I think it'll be fine and it'll add something to the look. Probably when the foot is tipped up and you can see the back of the ankle, there might be something there to see. So yeah, I'm gonna grab the other sticker, we'll put it on the other part, and then we'll get back to assembling these legs. You know, now Walter's got me thinking about those acrylic display things that created that exploded look. The company that made those, and I don't remember off the top of my head what they were called, like what the company's name was. They were definitely from Asia, and it was hard to find that acrylic display stand that I got for that perfect grade. But I do remember that they, for a while there, they were making them for several different, they had like a couple of different ones for master grades. I was interested in trying to get some more of them, and I never did do that. But I don't think that it would be too terribly difficult these days to design something like that of your own and then just use a laser cutter to cut some sheets of acrylic, because it's just flat acrylic with the correct cutouts for, you know, to line up with whatever parts that you're dealing with. It would certainly be possible to make something like that yourself, and that would be cool. someday when I have when I have free time, which I'd never have. Someday when I have free time, I'll think about whether I want to try something like that. So those snap in there, and yeah, that little black sticker we put on there is definitely going to be kind of just at the back of the inner frame by the ankle. I didn't forget anything, right? Okay, cool. So let me make sure that you guys have the most zoomed in view I can give you, and we will build more? No. I'm gonna have to cut parts for a second here. These H runners we haven't played with yet with this part of the leg at all. And I need 9 off of here for sure. And probably can look ahead and find some other things we need as well. Yeah, this little square bit here for sure. Hey, 16 is here as well. It's weird, man. I don't stream for like months, and then I turn on a stream on Twitch, and like there are a few of you who always show up. So thank you. So for you guys who just arrived recently on the stream here, I mentioned earlier the plan is, and I think I should have more time than usual to have free in the studio this week. The plan is to finish this guy as quickly as I can, like probably today. And then I've got a big resin conversion kit project that has a deadline that I need to get going with. And so later this week, I don't know if I'll stream any of it, or I'm definitely going to film some of it for creating a series on YouTube pretty soon talking about how to deal with resin conversion kits. I might stream some of it as well. So later this week, I'll be starting work on that. And whenever it makes sense to stream that work, I'll probably just go ahead and go live on both YouTube and Twitch. So if you guys are curious what's going on, or you want to see me sit here for hours and hours just cleaning up resin parts, well, I'll be doing that. Working on an artifact Zaku cannon. Oh. So those artifact kits are so small. I actually have a few. And what I did with mine is because I didn't want to like have to deal with trying to paint such tiny things. Like I'm sure you could, you know, either with a lot of masking or just careful hand painting, make them look really nice. But what I did was I just covered mine in just a single color, right? So I sprayed them with like chrome and then a clear top coat color over the top of that, and I made them into Christmas tree ornaments. So I have on our Christmas tree every year when we get that out, I have a set of ornaments that are just Gundam artifact kits, but they're made to look like Christmas ornaments. Nice and shiny in different colors, and that worked out well. I thought they were fun to assemble though, but yeah, I wouldn't want to have to deal with one more than just assembling it and then painting the entire thing one color. Yeah, you're right. I didn't count the number of parts on the ones that I built, but 60 is probably a good estimate. It was a lot of parts. It was more than I was expecting. And I guess like some of them come in a special color, right? Most of them are in that like weird tan. They look like resin almost. The color, the tan plastic that they use to mold them. But I opened one of mine and it was like transparent red or something. And I posted something on social media about it and people said, oh yeah, that's like one of the special ones. And I just painted over that one too, so nobody knows that it was special. Where did the third one go? Oh, it's right there. All right. You don't think like regular plastic model cement? I don't think I remember trying to glue mine. I just press fit them and they worked okay. But maybe if you needed it super glue? I don't know. It was weird yesterday, speaking of super glue, I was trying to use super glue on, I'm building a mod for one of my Voron 3D printers, and they wanted there was like a 3D printed part that they have you print to glue inside of the duct opening of one of the cooling fans. And so you kind of pop the lid off the fan and there was an alignment tool and you were supposed to use a drop of super glue to glue something in place. And for whatever reason, the plastic they used on the outer casing of the fan that I had bought didn't want to stick to super glue, and I was very surprised. I was like, super glue sticks to everything, but for whatever reason, that particular kind of plastic, and I don't know what kind of plastic it is, it just wouldn't stick at all. It was strange. So I ended up using some other like epoxy kind of glue, and it worked fine. All right, we need more polycaps. Yay! All right, let's zoom in and build this thing. I may now finally have enough of the parts. I shouldn't say that too soon here. Every time I think I have everything I need, then I go to the next step and we're missing something. So we'll see what happens here. This was a 97 print of a, yeah. I mean, maybe it's just such an old design that, you know, they hadn't figured out the engineering yet. I haven't built it, but somewhere in my collection, like in a closet somewhere, it's not even in my visible part of my backlog. I have an old kit that my brother bought me for Christmas, I think, one year. And, you know, because he knew that I like to build Gundam models, but he didn't know anything else besides that. And he bought me this, it was like a super old kit from maybe like the 70s or 80s. And it's actually like not snap fit, it glues together, it's so old. And I opened it and looked at it, but I haven't ever tried to build it yet. I don't know if I ever will. I may use it as like an exercise to see how much work it takes to make an old kit look good. So they've got me, they want me to use these little round black stickers here to cover a couple of these spots. I'm not going to do that. One, because the black is not that much different from the very dark gray plastic here. But secondly, I just don't think that they would look very good. So we're not going to do that. But we are going to put this leg together. Yeah, it surprises me. Well, I guess not surprises me, but I feel like it would be a huge logistical, like, thing to have to keep all those old molds, right? So they, at this point, have designed and printed so many of these kits. The vault where they keep track of and try to store all the old molds must be crazy. All right, so there's our double jointed knee joint. It kind of gets some separation there as it raises up. Kind of basic, but also cool. Ended up abandoning it. Yeah, that's too bad. But I get it, man. Yeah. sometimes it's not worth the frustration, right? All right, so we have two like functional leg inner frames. However, I'm still missing parts to finish the outer armor. So let's throw some runners around on the desk first and then get the parts we need. Yeah, I don't know why. I had this runner in my hand earlier. I grabbed some of the parts off of it, but obviously these were certainly needed, and I don't know why I just didn't get them while I had this out earlier. Missing any others? Yeah, definitely this one too. Yeah, so that's part of the problem, right? I'm working in a way such that as I cut these parts and lay them out here on the desk, they're on top of the instructions. And so then when I look ahead to see what other parts I might need, there's parts sitting there in the way. Why am I doing this? I don't know. It's just how we're building today. Not efficient, really. But here we are. Your last finished project, HG Scope Dog Turbo Custom. Nice. So I've found myself not doing a lot of Gunpla anymore either. I've been building a lot of like the third-party kits. Just because they're more interesting, right? They have more like either higher part count or some sort of gimmick that's different from what I'm used to. And some of them are starting to be like pretty decent quality, like almost comparable to Bandai's quality. All right, I should start putting these extra parts like up here on the part of the instructions that I've already finished. That would be smart. Let's do that. Yeah, I think for me, like the third-party kits recently kind of scratched the itch that I have, which is that I like to build like larger 1/100 scale type things. And Bandai just has stopped making master grades, it seems. Or, you know, the ones that they have are just slight variations on something that they've made before. Like, it's been a long time since we got a completely new master grade kit. And so some of the third-party stuff recently kind of fills that void of like the larger scale, over-the-top kinds of builds. But on the flip side, a lot of them like have fancy big display bases and all kinds of like backpacks with crazy wings and pointy things sticking off them or whatever. And they take up a lot of space to display. So that's the other side of it, right? I'm running out of room to put these things. I should try to remember when I've got the camera zoomed in to its max like I've got right now, to try to like actually have my hands in the shot. I have a tendency to pull them back closer to myself, especially when I'm trimming or cleaning up parts. Yeah, work out here so that the camera can actually see what I'm doing. Or pull my chair up. Maybe that's the trick. Sorry about the carpet. It's hard to remember what? It's hard to remember to keep my hands in the camera shot? Yeah. I mean, because I do enough work here as well while the camera's not rolling, and I don't have to think about it, right? So I just have to remember to turn on that part of my brain that's thinking about the fact that I'm not just sitting here working, talking to myself, which I do a lot. I'm talking to myself, and other people might be listening and watching. So yeah, if you guys are wondering, like when I'm here by myself just working on something and I'm not live or recording video or whatever, I'm sitting here kind of same thing, right? Just chatting with myself. Does that make me crazy? Probably. Although when I'm here by myself and you guys aren't here and I'm working on stuff, I'm also often either listening to music or a podcast or watching a live stream of a soccer match that's going on somewhere in the world. All right, what are we building? We're building legs, right? Are these different colors? Are they supposed to be different colors? Because they came off different runners. Interesting. All right, well, this goes on first. And then this snaps over the top. And they are not different. I thought these would be molded in a slightly different shade of gray, but they're not. Hell on pause. Hello. It's going well. Yeah, I'm enjoying this guy. He looks like this so far. And we're working on his legs today. Yeah, it is, like, I don't know if you guys can tell on camera or not. I don't know how much the camera picks up, but like, here's the foot we built earlier today, right? And it's, like, the plastic is fine, and I'm not repainting this at all or doing anything fancy to it. I'm just snap building it as it came. But the plastic's a bit shiny, and then as soon as I go and hit that same plastic with a nice matte top coat after we're done with the assembly, this to me looks so much better. Like this light gray here is the same as the light gray at the bottom of these feet. But with the matte top coat, it just kind of loses that plasticky shine that makes it look toy-like, and it is looking pretty good, I think. All right, what are we doing? So this is the back of the upper part of the leg. I have some sanding dust in there. Let's get that out. Right, so that goes just like so, somewhere in there. And then somewhere I have the parts for the front of the leg, which are here. And somehow I didn't cut the little rectangular part we need off of the G-runner. There it is. I don't need this one too, do I? No, that looks like it probably goes on the side skirt. So I don't need that right now. All right, so now we can put this on here. Should we do the other leg before we move on? Probably. Cool, now I'm missing this part here that goes on the back of the knee joint. And it looks like this one has another one of those optional stickers, or I'm treating them as optional at least, that adds like the black detail into some part of it here. We'll figure that out in just a second and decide if I want to apply those. All right, so number 3, no, number 2. Oh, interesting. They want 2 in the middle, so like this sort of rectangle bit here. See if I can catch the light with the camera. I don't know. There's a little rectangular detail with a couple little spokes kind of coming out of it. That's for this sticker, and then they've got these other ones that go around the edges of it and wrap around the sides. I won't use those outer ones. I might use the middle one. Let's try it, see what it looks like. Again, on the original kit, this sticker sheet had those stickers in some sort of metallic. Like they're meant to add those sort of metallic touches onto the gray inner frame. But on this recolored kit, they just printed them all in black. Which makes sense. Like, they wouldn't look good as shiny silver with the color scheme of this kit. So we're gonna do that. That's fine. I'll leave that one there. I'm just gonna press it down so it catches all of the little raised bits of the molding correctly there. There's like a little edge right there and a little edge right there that need to press down. Yeah, that looks good. All right, cool. We'll do that. And then I'm not gonna put those other ones around the outside edge of it. Yep, that looks right. Press it down. All right, cool. So where do these go again? On the back of the knee joint somewhere. So just like that. And then we can fill out the rest of this lower leg armor. Looks good. So now we got this bit, it's the back of the lower leg. Just like that. These two parts here are ever so slightly different shades of gray. I'm not sure that the camera is accurately picking that up. There may be more shades of gray here than what you're seeing, is I think what I'm saying there. All right, so this goes on here. And then there are a couple of bits that cover it up. We only have one of them. Right, we have this bit that goes on the front here. But the larger part that goes in here of the outer armor I have not gotten yet. So let me go ahead and put these all on here. And then I'll dig in the box again and find the parts that we haven't gotten. But yeah, might as well start off by using up the ones we definitely have. It'd be cool if I pressed that on straight so that it would actually fit. There we go. That's backwards. All right, so we need these two for sure. I would say that one as well. Anything else while I'm here? Am I building side skirts anytime soon? No, I guess not, because we have to build the entire waist unit later on. So that's probably it for now. Oh, I need these. Right, these are the sides and the knee joint. Oh, wait a minute. That just reminded me. So we did this on the arms, right? I just took a look at the sides of the elbow joint right here. There were two different versions of these little caps. So there's these open ones that allow you to see the dark gray through from the backside, and then there was this one here that I'm holding in my fingers that we chose not to use way back when. They have the same thing here, right? So we've got these two closed versions or these two open ones. For the sake of consistency, I'll choose these. However, that makes me think that a little while ago today, when we were building the feet, I should have chosen these two here for the ones on the ankles. I forgot that there was a choice. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna grab these, we'll go back and swap those out in a little while here. But yeah, while I've got these runners out, I'll go ahead and trim those parts off, and then we'll finish the legs first. But then before we put the feet on, I'll swap out those little joint parts on the ankles there with the other style. What time is it? How long have I been doing this? Like 2 hours? So my plan, or my hope, I guess, when I started this morning, was that I'd be able to finish the rest of the snap build of this, at least, in about like 3 hours or so, which would mean then it was about lunchtime for me here. I think I'm making decent progress towards that. We'll see. Yeah, it's been about 2 hours. The legs on one of these kits are always, in my experience, the longest section of a build, right? Because there tend to just be more parts. More part count equals more time spent fining and cutting parts off of the sprues and cleaning them up. Before you actually even get to put stuff together. All right, so those I'm gonna set off to the side for the moment. And like I said, we'll come back to those before we put the feet onto the legs. Yeah, so to finish this up today, after the legs are done, we actually have the waist unit to build, which I had totally forgotten about. I assumed since I had the torso built up there that I had also built the waist already, but I obviously have not. So waist unit, then we can hook the legs on, and I suppose we could attach that onto the upper torso there, and we could see the whole thing completed, even though the top half of him will be like finished and top coated and decaled and all that, and the bottom half will not. So that'll look a little strange, but we can do that. And then his weapons loadout is fairly simple, right? He's got the shield, the beam rifle, and I think a bazooka as well. But either way, I should have time to finish today, as was the plan. If needed, I can just work through lunch. And finish it up. All right, so move stuff out of the way here so I can see what I'm doing. Simple enough, right? And then we'll put this on here. Oh no. I'm missing a part off the J runner. And I remember seeing this one earlier, this little one right here, and wondering out loud if that was something we would need. And I looked ahead in the instructions and did not see it. But you know what? While I'm holding this, I'm just gonna grab these here as well because they're definitely the hip joints. And we're gonna need them soon. All right, back on track. So we can press this in here. And now we can put this on the front of the leg. Before I press that down, I'm just making sure it doesn't matter what order I put these two parts in. I think this one can go first, that's fine. All right. So there we go. That looks more monochrome than I was thinking it was going to. Like not as much color separation as I was expecting, I don't feel like, with those parts. That's fine. All right, and then we've got these guys here that go on the sides here. This way. Oh, I never put these parts on this guy. There we go. All right, 2 legs, and I've got these parts ready to go for the hip joints, except that I just need to clean up the nub marks here real quick. Wow, that little mark disappeared better than I thought it was going to. All right, so these are super straightforward, right? This presses in here. This presses in the opposite side. That's all there is to it. We are missing one more part, I see now. It's the part that goes kind of sandwiched at the top here, top of the leg before you put the hip joint down in place. And it looks like they're both on the F1 runner, not the F2 runner. They're these two guys right here. Just looking to see if it matters which leg it goes on. It doesn't, well, I mean, it determines, yeah, the part that I pick here determines whether this is the left or the right leg. So this one is now the left leg, and this goes in this way. And that means the other one will be the right leg. Not that way, this way. All right, now as I said, we should swap out the little round bits here on these ankles. I'm going to put these off to the side with the ones that were saved from the elbows as well. And we'll drop these on. You want these oriented so that the little line, the rib that runs down the middle there, is at kind of a 45-ish degree angle like that. So that's correct for that one. And that looks right for this one. All right, cool. So, ankle connects down. Do we even get to see that black sticker that we put in here? It's like kind of visible just on the edge right there. And this doesn't open in any way like when the leg or ankle moves or bends, because it's just on this ball joint, so there's no motion of the interior there. Yeah, so that black sticker that we wondered about there is largely not visible anyway. The one back here is nice. Just checking to see like how stable this thing's going to be standing. It's not terrible. Yeah, that's all right. Cool. All right, I'm gonna grab a drink real quick. Today's stream, by the way, is being powered by Arizona Energy. It's like a citrus drink with green tea in it. It's not bad. It does taste quite sugary, I guess. Like, it's certainly not healthy, I don't think. But it tastes pretty good. All right, onto the waist unit, and I believe I'm just gonna cut all of the parts off of this runner because I think we need them all. At least it looks like it. Right, those are like the middle part of the crotch, and then these are the top part where the skirts hook on. There's an action base adapter there. I won't cut that off. I don't think I'm going to display this guy on an action base. I think I'm going to just have it standing. Those are the insides of the front and back skirts, and they're all kind of similar to one another, so should I be keeping track of which one's which? Probably. But that'll be a problem for my future self to figure out in like 5 minutes. Let's see. These ones I'm not sure about. Let's turn the page and find out. Right, so I definitely need these two. I'm not sure about those. I don't know where they go. But I think not here. Oh, they're the little round rivet details in the shield. Yeah, and this is the handle for the shield. That makes sense. All right, we're not going to get those parts yet. So it's Monday, start of a new week. Is anybody doing anything good or exciting this week? I know for me, I'm looking forward to my son's soccer season starts this week. So I'm one of the coaches on his team. And so we start practices this week. So it's going to be a bit of a change in our schedule again. Sort of coming out of summer back into our regular kind of normal school and soccer schedule that we have. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. He's got, I think most of the players on his team are returning from last season. And so they're all kids that I've worked with before, and they're a pretty good team. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that shakes out this season. And we'll see how hot it is out there. We practice in the evenings, but we live in a hot, humid climate, so it'll be interesting to see, like usually the first week or so of practices, the boys are all like really tired, just like half an hour in or so, because they're not used to running around out in the heat. Most of them been sitting inside all summer long. As have I, so we'll see how that goes too. This kit makes the most boring pile of nubs when you're finished, because it's just all different shades of gray. But I'm trying to keep them all kind of swept up here in one spot so they don't go all over the floor. All right, we will go ahead and put a few of these pieces together. However, I fully expect that I'm gonna need some different ones in different colors, like really, really soon. So the spot here in the waist where the hip joints connect in is super old style as far as Bandai Master Grades go, right? It doesn't have like any sort of rocking mechanism to swing the hips forward or anything like that. It's just a single polycap style peg mount. Which is a little bit sad. Yeah, I do need more parts. Let's go ahead and get all of these as well, because I certainly am going to need them soon. This one too. What about these here? I don't know. Do they go? Yeah, they go along the bottom edge. That makes sense. So yes, we need these. All right, what else? All right, so these are for the side skirts. And I'm gonna need these as well. I'm not sure about this little rectangular bit back there, number 41 on F. I think it probably goes, oh, it's right there. Yeah, on the back. It's that little piece that kind of rotates out of the way to make a mount for the, or to reveal a mounting place for like the bazooka or the beam rifle or something, probably. I'm starting to end up with some empty runners, which normally I forgot the tradition. Normally I throw them on the floor. It's been a long time since I did this. Instead, I'm just putting them back in the box. That's fine too. Here, while I clean parts, you guys can see a different camera angle for a bit. I don't use this one a lot when building kits because, see, I'm right-handed and my right hand that's either holding the file or the nippers or whatever I'm working with at the time perfectly blocks the view of the camera looking in here. So it's not ideal for this kind of a setup, but that camera works great for some of the 3D printer build stuff that I do. It's also not quite as good of a quality of a camera. Like the image isn't quite as good, although I've tried to dial it in to be as close as I can to the other main camera. But it doesn't hurt to switch to it from time to time, and I like to do that so that I can go back and try to find this little section of the stream later and just watch it back, part of it real quick, to make sure that things are looking okay. This waist unit has more parts than I was expecting. I guess I forgot that even though the front and back skirts are small in size, you know, comparatively to other Gundam designs, and they're fairly simple looking, they have like all of these parts, right? Because they have this sort of part separation gimmick with the middle bit being separate from those ones that go around the outside edge of the skirt. And when you're making 4 of the skirts total, that causes the part count to add up. All right, clean up this mess. Switch back to the top-down camera and let's build this thing. So here was the little bit we've done so far. That would be backwards. Don't do that. So that goes there, this goes on the back here. Yeah, see, and this little bit is going to be able to spin around like so. But for now, we'll leave it in its closed state like this. Dust. All right, let's get this very tiny little emblem marking piece here. Is there anything else I need on this runner? Almost certainly, right? These 4 for sure. That's for the bazooka, that's for the shield. I have no idea what this is for, but I don't think I need it right now. Right, so I almost lost a piece. That very tiny piece there, I accidentally swept it into my pile of nubs. Let's just go ahead and carefully trim this right now and put it somewhere off to the side for a minute. All right, that looks good. I'm going to put it up there on the instructions. So later when I've lost it again, you can remind me. You know what? I'm just going to put it in the part that it goes in right away so that we don't have that problem. So I've decided one side of this is not perfectly smooth. Let's see if we can clean that up a tiny bit. Yeah, that was hard. All right, that's going to be better. There we go. That looks perfect. All right, and I still don't have all the parts I need. Wait, maybe I do? I was wrong, I do. The one I was looking for is right here. Cool, so we push this in there. That should hold everything in place. And then we can push it on here. I didn't get parts off of an H runner yet, so there are more parts to get. These look like they go inside of the front and back skirts. If that's the case, there should be another pair of those somewhere. Yep, here they are. All right, I think at this point I've seen all of the runners. Like for this section of the build, I've pulled all the runners that were left out of the box at least one time. So I think that means that I have all the parts I need. And see, I shouldn't have said that because now I see that there are the little ball joint parts that attach the skirts on, and I definitely don't have those. I must have missed them. Yeah. Oh no, we didn't get this runner out. That's right. The J runners we have not looked at yet, because we need both of these parts. And that should be it, right? Yeah. I just realized that in order to finish this whole thing up, either later today or tomorrow, when I go to put the top coat on these parts, I got to do the water slides, of course, and then the top coat. But when I do that, I am thinking ahead and realizing that my spray booth area here in the studio is completely covered with all kinds of spare parts and things from my recent 3D printer build. I'm gonna have to clean that up to even be able to get there to be able to do the painting work. Which, you know, if I was smart and I just cleaned as I went, I wouldn't have that problem. Do you fit? Does it matter which one of these little skirt cover pieces I use? I don't think so. Like between the front and the back opposite side, they're the same. Although you're a front skirt, right? Let me just check. Yeah, these are definitely front skirts. And this particular piece that I just put on there has, I don't know if the camera picks it up or not, but there's like a diagonal mold line, or not, it's just like the way the plastic flowed when they poured it in the mold. Just a slight blemish kind of a thing. And I'd rather have that on the back of the kit. So I'm gonna carefully pop that up. And we're gonna try to use the other one instead. Yeah, so this will be the front and we'll put that one on the back. Again, because I'm not painting this, the matte top coat might sort of hide that a bit, but it also might not. So I'm just gonna be a little careful there. Other side. Not that one, this one. What do I use for flat coat? With this kit, I've been using my very favorite, which is this right here. It's made by Modo, and it is a lacquer. They call it Super Flat Clear. It is the flattest flat coat I've ever seen, and I really, really like it. However, I think that at least the online shop here in the US that I used to get this from doesn't carry it in stock anymore. And I'm down to like, when I saw that they put it on clearance, I bought like the last 3 or 4 bottles that they had. And I'm down to like just 2 bottles of it left, I think. So I'm gonna have to switch to a different flat coat soon. But most of my builds in the last, I don't know, I'd say like 2 or 3 years have used that. And I think it looks really good. All right, so there's 2 front skirts. I guess we can go ahead and put them on. The balancer, yeah, it would, yeah. I've used one of those before and it would work for that, I think. I have one somewhere. I'm too lazy to go find it, so we're just gonna hope that the flat coat fixes that issue. And if it doesn't, it's fine. It adds character. All right, I guess it matters which one of these 2 little angled bits I use. And it's definitely this one. We found another really weird song. Skip it. All right, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm just putting the rest of the little frame around the outside of this guy. Not that one, the other one. These back skirts seem quite a bit looser. Maybe after I put this piece in here, they tighten up a bit. Not too much. Yeah, they're definitely looser than the front skirts, as far as they just kind of flop around. not sure that they'll hold their position very well. I guess we'll find out right now. Yep, definitely quite loose. Huh, interesting. Like just a tiny touch and they're just, yeah, falling everywhere. That makes me wish I was painting them to tighten them up a bit. It's all right. Once this guy's standing in a fixed pose on my shelf, he's probably not going to move too much anyway, so it's okay. All right, yeah, so let's put the legs in here. The other thing I've noticed is this little bit here keeps folding down. I know it's supposed to, but like it seems like I keep hitting it and it accidentally folds down out of the way. And then I have to keep fixing it with tweezers. All right, so legs and waist. Looks fine. Put the side skirts on. Okay. And I suppose if I can find this little extra core block piece that they gave us. Right, I want to avoid folding up the core fighter and putting it in there, because I think I want to have that separate to display beside the final kit. So I don't want to put it inside there now and potentially run the risk of like scratching the top coat. So we'll do this instead. And this little piece here that a little while ago I was not sure what it was for is for it's the cockpit basically for that thing there, and somewhere there's a little seated pilot figure. I saw him earlier. There it is. I've developed surgeon hands after the work on fine details. Well, maybe. I do feel like I have, like always, had like pretty good fine manual dexterity. Like I've always been good at, like, you know, fitting things into small areas, disassembling and reassembling like electronics and stuff. Probably comes from playing with a lot of Lego as a kid. But yeah, that's definitely a skill that you can like improve on with practice. All right, let's go put this tiny guy into his seat here. And then that sits in there. So he's in there. It's hard to see, but sure. And then we can drop this on here, and we can drop the upper half of the body in place. Again, I'm going to be careful with the upper half of the body because it's already completely painted and finished. And in fact, I'm going to grab a quick little wipe from my hands here. One thing, I feel like I'm good at putting tiny things together. However, one thing about my particular hands that I'm not excited about is that they tend to get like greasy and sweaty. So I always have to be careful to like make sure my fingers are clean when I'm working on one of these kits that is finished, because I don't want to leave fingerprints on it. Fold this up. All right, I did not push that down all the way. Like there's a little bit more, it could go down onto the waist to kind of snap into place. I'm not gonna do that yet until I'm ready to put it together for good. But there it is. So yeah, the bottom half of him is all shiny and weird because it's not finished yet. And the top half looks, I think, quite a lot better. Let's adjust this just a touch. All right. Yeah, there he is. All right, hey, another use for that other camera. Nice. I accidentally cut this piece out here. It's for the shield. I didn't realize that as I was going through and madly cutting out parts a little while ago. So yeah, we have weapons and shield. I will probably finish those separately off stream when I go to do the rest of the decals and stuff on there. However, I will show you guys this. Right, so this was the one and only, as far as I know, one and only difference as far as parts, molded parts, with this version of the kit. Right, so this was exactly the Master Grade RX78 3.0, with the exception that they added these two runners. And all it is it's a front faceplate for the shield, and then these two little lightning bolt details that press into there. which is cool that they did that for a marking for the kit rather than like a sticker or even a water slide. If they're gonna charge you what I think is an overpriced amount for this version of the kit, at least they gave you something special. Right, so these push in here. I guess I can just go ahead and put them in place because... Is that going to be visible? No, it's not. Okay, cool. That one's going to be visible. Let's fix that real quick. Hello? Why don't you fit? Because I got to turn it around 180 degrees? Yeah. All right. So yeah, that is our shield. So instead of this part right here, which, you know, it's obviously still here, so we could use either one, but we get to use this one instead. The rest of the construction of the shield is exactly the same. This is cool. These are ever so slightly raised from the surface as well, unless I just didn't push them in far enough. But I think I pushed them in as far as they'll go. So yeah, they're slightly raised. Yep, I think that'll look okay. Hey, and this shield, actually, we talked about panel lines earlier and this kit not having very many. This shield has a couple of fairly obvious ones. So I will drop some black panel line fluid in there. I think it'll look nice. But anyway, that's what the shield is going to look like. And there's the Gundam. So what I'm going to do is stop the stream and go eat lunch. And then sometime today or tomorrow, I will try to finish up water slide decals and top coat on this guy. And I'll make sure to post probably a short on YouTube. And if I remember, some photos over on Blue Sky as well of the final build. So if you guys are curious what it ends up looking like, you can find me in one of those two places, and probably within the next couple days I should have this guy finished so that I can do that. And then I'll put it on the shelf next to this little acrylic display stand thing that they gave me when I bought it at the store there in Times Square. And it's a good little memento of my trip with my family to New York that we took this spring break. So yeah, that was what, like March? So it's taken a while to finish this guy, but it took a while before I even started him. So anyway, that's gonna do it, I guess, for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you are interested in Gundam stuff, so maybe I'll kind of ask this question at the end. People can leave a comment on the YouTube video if you've watched this far. Because on YouTube I post 3D printer related stuff and I post Gundam related stuff. And I've always wondered, like, which one do people care more about? I think probably most of the people on YouTube care more about the 3D printer stuff. So they're probably confused when they see this kind of thing. But I don't really want to separate it out into two separate channels either. I don't think either one of them would be big enough to really matter. So I think I'm going to just keep doing this. We're going to do a mixture of 3D printing stuff and Gundam stuff over on the YouTube channel. And if you have thoughts or comments or things about that you want to suggest to me, let me know in the comments of any of the videos. I'm curious what people think about all of that. But anyway, I will finish this guy up later. And like I said, I'll post some photos and videos of the final thing. and hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time.